Welcome to Inspiring Possible. I'm Christy Pennison, former stuck person turned therapist and dream consultant. Are you feeling stuck, overwhelmed, uncertain, or just need a little inspiration? Then I want to help you gain the clarity, confidence, and courage to create possibilities and live a life you love. Because folks, life's too short to be miserable. Welcome back to the Inspiring Possible podcast. I'm so excited that you have joined us yet again for another episode. I mean, this year has been really incredible in some of the guests we've already had so far this year. And guess what? We haven't stopped. And so today, I'm wondering if you maybe are in a place, if you're listening, and you've thought about some ideas that you have for your life, or maybe you've wanted a change that you've been thinking about for a while. But somewhere inside of you, you may think, well, that may be possible for somebody else, but maybe not so for me. Well, today I hope you hang in there because I have an incredible guest who's going to share a little bit about their story of how they kind of maybe made something happen that some people might would have said, oh, I don't know if that's possible. And then kind of their story of how now they help others in that same regard, find ways to break through some of those limiting beliefs. But I'm really excited to have entrepreneur and passionate life coach. Okay, I like how you put that in there, Rossana. Rossana Storani, welcome to the Inspiring Possible podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm very excited, very honored to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to share my story. And hopefully that even if I touch one heart, it will be plenty for me. That's the payoff.
Well, tell me a little bit about your story because I know you're originally from Argentina and now you empower others, people that are seeking professional growth or trying to maybe navigate life transitions. How did you get from where you were to where you are?
Well, yeah, I'm originally from Argentina. I grew up in a farm and I have like 5 siblings. I'm a number 4 of all the kids. And I had a very, very amazing childhood growing up in the farm. And when I was about 12, we moved to a city. And that's when my parents' relationship kind of fell apart. And my mom left when I was 15. My dad died when I was 17. So during those 2 years, I kind of took care of my dad and become like the head of the house. After he died, he left us a very big business. It was like a dairy farm. So it was a huge farm. And this was my first career. And it's so funny because I'm thinking now about how in a lot of the things that I've done in my life, I have to develop my masculinity in order to fit into these roles. And of course, being an owner of a farm together with my siblings, it was being on my masculine energy most of the time because that was totally, I mean, we're talking about 40 something years ago, 45 years ago.
Yeah, and you were young, right?
I'm going
You
to
were
be
young when this
60 this year.
responsibility
I
was
was
given to you.
17.
Yeah.
I was 17. So I finished high school, did not have the opportunity to go to college because I have to start working right there. And by age 19, I got pregnant with my only child. And she is the best thing that happened to me. But however, I thought I was 19 years old and I thought that this is it. That was life. I knew everything. And yeah, what a child. I mean, when I'm looking back, and it's so incredible. There is so much more to live. So I was a mom and I had my own job and, life was that for me until we sold the farm. And then I find myself with the freedom to do whatever I wanted to do. So I moved to the US when I was probably around 25. My baby was 5. So we moved to the US just because I came to visit a friend to Pennsylvania and I love that area. I mean, of course, it was spring and summer. So it was beautiful. Pennsylvania give you the opportunities to
The
go to
winter,
the
yeah, was it?
mountains. Right.
Yeah.
So the mountains are like an hour away. I love hiking. There's also a beach, beautiful beaches, like an hour and a half away. I was in heaven to me. That was the perfect spot. So I moved. And of course, on the first winter, my reality was totally different. Like I didn't know it could be so cold that I didn't know what to do. I mean, literally, I was inside the house. I have no clothes. I'm totally unprepared for winter. I didn't know how to dress or what to do with the ice and the snow or anything like that.
In Argentina, were you, like, kind of more, not near the mountains, or what part of Argentina were you?
Well, I'm from my hometown is in the mountain. It's in the middle of the country, so we
Okay.
have mountains and we also have lakes and river. Argentina is a very extensive country, and it goes the north of Argentina is very hot, and the south is we have glaciers in the south. So, I'm about in the middle. So the weather is cold in
Okay,
the
okay,
winter,
so we didn't
but
have
it's
the
not as
but
cold.
not that cold.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So,
this was, like, a
yeah.
real shock to the system, like,
Oh,
expecting it to be
absolutely.
cold. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I had the heater going at like 85 degrees inside of the house, and like I spend most of the time inside until I guess I got used to it then. But within the 2 years, I'll say I spent all my money. I did a few bad investments. So I find myself in the US with no money. I had a 6, 7-year old at that time, and I have no family. I did not speak the language either. So
Oh,
I had to
really?
get a job. Yeah, I did not speak English when I moved here. I have to get a job, and the worst part is since I grew up in a wealthy family, I never done anything. I mean, I never cooked or well, yeah, I did cook for fun, but I didn't know how to wash my clothes or anything. I always had people doing that for me. So,
Okay. That's
yeah,
what's
that
rough. So it
was
was not even the cold, it was the reality of, like, okay, now the
yeah,
money is no longer. I have to get a job. Wait, and I have to do some of this other stuff that I'm having to learn how to do, maybe for the first time.
right. For the first time. Yeah. So cleaning my house for the first time and taking care of my child for the first time because I always have a living nanny since I was a working mom. So that was out of the picture too. Plus that, my daughter started going to school, and I remember trying to help her with the homework, like first grade homework. I could not do anything. I mean, I felt so bad, such a bad mother. I really had a hard time with that. So I started working as cleaning houses, and my first job as a nanny, which I love. I mean, I think out of all the careers that I have in my life, the nanny is my favorite. I
Right.
remember being so happy and so fulfilled, and everything was just perfect physically, mentally, emotionally. I felt great and I worked as a nanny for like about 10 years. One of the things I learned is that doesn't really matter what you do. If you give your 100 plus 1%, you will succeed in anything you do. You have to be the best of what you do. So I become the best nanny in the whole area. So I did have a great
So
income, but I
everybody was
also
like, people were calling you up to say, "Please, can you come help?" Or
yeah, I was very well paid too. I become like the no nanny. They used to call me the Sharper Image catalog nanny. At that time, Sharper Image was kind of there were very expensive stuff in there. And I remember when I hear that comment one day, I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. But that was a great job for me because not only allowed me to um, work and make good money, I also can bring my child with me whenever she was in school. So I could work weekends, I could work nights, and it just was great for me. And I have met amazing people through those years and the
And
babies
then she
now
got
that
to
are
have play and she got playmates too. She got to play with other kids, I'm
she
assuming?
was a little older because I always started with
Okay.
babies and then I will drop that family for a new family when the kids got older. So
Get older, okay.
I have numerous babies in my life, and these babies are all now in the middle 30s, 30 years old. Some of them are getting married, and yeah, it's kind of
Oh,
cool to
fun.
see.
So it's
Yeah,
full circle at this point, yeah.
yes. So I did that for like 10 years, I think. My last family, I got burned out by that. The whole See, I think that in the nanny business, you have to be a good match for the parents.
Yeah.
And the parents have to be a good match. I mean, your values and they have to be aligned. Your rules, your values, your lifestyle have to be aligned in order to be able to be beneficial for the child and have a good relationship. So my last clients, they were very busy couple. They were a little older than me, but by then they were over 40s and they wanted to have children because I guess they were running out of time. So, but they had very busy career, both of them. So they were never home and there were long hours and there was a lot of conflicts, like during the weekend, I was spending time with mom and dad. And honestly, I know if you're a parent that you don't have the opportunity to be with your child during the week, you will do anything for these kids in the weekend. But then the nanny will come on Monday and it's like, okay, what happened to these children? I mean, they're like
And they're exhausted,
uneducated
especially
again.
babies.
Right.
Especially
Yes.
babies, they're, like, so like, they thrive on consistency and structure, so I'm assuming you'd come back in, and
Yeah.
whatever consistency and structure was throughout the week, it's, like,
They have
reinforcing the
a
child too.
Right. They have the second baby when the first one wasn't even walking yet. So there was at one point there were two babies in that house. So I've become very unhappy with my job. I find that every Sunday afternoon it was like, ugh, have to go back to work tomorrow. And I never felt that before. So I know there was time to move on. And at the time I was dating this guy that I guess sharing my situation, he said, "Well, I have a perfect job for you." And that's how I started in construction. He did have like this, yeah, crazy because I had no idea.
I
I have
just
never,
wondered how did we get from nanny to construction? Yeah,
right.
'cause
That
a
was
whole
a
different thing.
big difference. So I went from the farm, which is a total masculine environment, to the nanny, total feminine environment. Now I'm going back to the masculinity. And I have never built anything, but I guess building with blocks. That's it. But I never built a house.
Well,
I
you're
know
the
how to.
nanny, we're building with blocks, maybe with the kids or
Right.
the babies, you know?
Yes. So he got this major project. There were like 10 houses. They were relocated to different areas. And these houses where they needed to be set up on new foundations. And so it was pretty much I had to create the foundations, move the house on top of it, and redesign the whole house, update everything, and that's it. And he was running out of time. He did not have time himself. So he said, listen, I'm giving you a truck, a crew, and a crew of guys to work for you, whatever tools you need, and get the work. So
Yeah,
that was an
go for it.
amazing challenge because I have no idea what I'm doing. Now, designing a house, it was like so difficult because you have to think about everything, and I have no idea. So I thought about it, how I'm going to get this done. Um, I figured, well, if I hire people that are experts on that, like expert carpenters, expert painters, expert in flooring or tile guy, that's it. I let them do the job. I supervise. I pick the colors. I pick the things that I want, but I'm actually not doing the work. So that I did, and it was wonderful for 2 years. I think it took like about 2 years to finish all those houses, and he was able to sell everything before the real estate market literally crashed. Because I think when 2 months after we saw the last house, the real estate went down so badly.
Oh my gosh. Was that in
So
2008? Was that in 2008, I
yes,
think?
yes.
Yeah.
Well, in 2000, right? So this is about 2006 when I finished.
Okay. Okay. Or
So
7, 8, I can't remember when it was, but around that time. Yeah.
right, right. So when I finished all that, he said, I have nothing to do now. And he's like, I have a friend that is selling a company. It's a brand new company. He did not save money to buy insurance. So the renewal come up and he is going to close it. I'm sure if you give it a few bucks, he'll give it to you. So
Wow.
that's how I become the owner of Quality Plus, which is my company now. So I purchased that company. And I mean, at this point, I have, look, I had fear every time I went into these major changes in my life because this was involving a huge change. I mean, I have to move from Pennsylvania to New Jersey. I am not the biggest fan of New Jersey and leave all my friends and my lifestyle to become an owner of this construction company that I a lot less know anything about it because this was a company that was doing foundations and marinas and bulkheads, and there was a lot of marine construction that I had no idea. But I said, well, I'm going to do the same as I did before. I'm going to find the best people to work for me. So I did. And I mean, it started very small. And then when Katrina hit New Orleans, I was contacted by an engineer. He said, what do you think if you can buy this piece of equipment and I help you? We go work and reconstruct Louisiana. That needed tons of work, but we needed a specialty equipment that was very expensive. So I'm like, okay, well, I mean, it wasn't so easy as an okay, because that means I'm getting in debt to be able to buy this equipment. I didn't know what's going to happen. It was moving to Louisiana. But well, I decided to purchase the equipment. A job came out in New York in 2008. The equipment was delivered here, and I never moved out of New York. So the company later
So you
moved
never
to
made
New
it to New
York.
Orleans.
Never made it because the equipment was delivered here and we have work here. And I finally moved the company in 2009 legally, as this is the location of the main location. So, yeah, and I've been working since then. I mean, I used to do a lot more smaller jobs. I got into commercial work and also got certified as a woman-owned business by the state and the city of New York. So it's been great. So to me, life was excellent. I mean, like I had everything I wanted. So 3 years ago, I my daughter moved. At one point, my daughter moved back to Argentina and she went to med school. She's a doctor and she stayed there. So I meet with her husband and the girls. I have three granddaughters. I meet them halfway in February. So that year we met and we went on a vacation. And when I come back, I kind of have this. I remember I woke up one morning and I'm like, what's going on? I mean, I'm totally unhappy. And then the worst part is that I'm guilty. I feel so guilty because something wrong have to be in your life in order to be unhappy. If you are financially well, you have a roof above your head. I mean, I have good health. Uh, I'm not a bad looking woman. I was in a relationship at the time with somebody that I love. I have a beautiful family. I mean, that something is not, just didn't close the gap. And I decided to make a major change. And that was after a phone call I got from my daughter. And she's like, Mom, I'm pregnant again. This was number three. And made me thought of we thought we wanted a boy after the two girls, and then we find out there was another girl. And I'm like, this is a sign from the universe. You know, what am I blessed with three granddaughters? I have a beautiful daughter. My daughter is an amazing woman, amazing mom, the best daughter you can ever imagine. And I felt like I wasn't the role model for them that I want them to have. I there was no reason why I should be so unhappy because I wasn't fulfilled in my life. So success really is not about how much money you get in a bank account or how successful are with your business. Success is thing is the amount of joy and happiness you have in your life. So I did not have that. So I realized that I needed to make a few changes. And the first one was to put on hold my company. I was very tired. I did not like the way, I was constantly stressed. After COVID, really, it became complicated and I just didn't want to work anymore. So I figured I would not close it. I just put it in dormant. I stopped taking jobs, finished what I was doing. Then I broke up with my love of my life at the time. So I know that that was the next step, that he wasn't the right person for me, that we were not doing any good thing for each other. So that needed to go as well. And it's very hard to let go of something that you think that you want so hard. And then, well, once you let it go, you realize that's the best thing you ever could do. So,
Yeah. Well, whether it's putting the business on pause, I'm thinking about as you're talking, like whether it's letting go of like the business, not that you're letting go of it, but you're putting it on pause for a season. And then you're
right,
like, okay, now I have a little bit more space. And now I'm realizing this relationship really isn't aligned for me. So now
right,
we're letting go of that. And then you're getting more clarity as you go along.
right.
So what happened next?
Well, I signed up for my first course to become a life coach. And I literally did that because now I have the time to study and to go into my I love to get in touch with my soul whenever I get into those places in my life that I need a lot of answer for questions that I have and I can't find them. So I started training as a life coach, and that was amazing. I did it. My intention was to grow myself, to just to find my answers and personal development. And so I invested in myself. I never thought my intention was never to help somebody else because I never thought I could do that. So and
Right.
then
Okay. So when you started on the journey, you're like, I'm going to become this life coach, but I'm really doing it for me. I don't think I'm equipped to necessarily help anybody else because I'm still trying to find my joy again
right.
in life.
I never thought, well, the joy is that in helping some, you know,
Hmm.
I find it when I understood that the fulfillment comes from giving and doing for others. That is where the true fulfillment comes from. So, and then I have to move to Argentina to help my daughter. She had like a difficult pregnancy, not difficult pregnancies. Her last month or 2 months of the pregnancy was always like she needed the rest because the babies tend to want to get out earlier than yeah. So I
Maybe
know
it's
that
time to
was
come out for
coming.
them.
That was the next thing. So I needed to be free in order to be able to help her. So I moved there for like 3 months until the baby was born and everything was great. And in the meantime, I'm studying and doing all these seminars. I'm like totally immersed in my personal development and I'm like fascinated about that. I got certified as a life coach. And then I decided to come back to the US I mean, that I love to being a grandmother. I love my kids. The girls are amazing, but I'm also love to do other things. I am not the grandmother that's going to sit there and just do that. And I needed
This
to
is
come
where
back.
know thyself comes into place. Like, for me to be the best grandmother, I actually need to do these other things so that when I do have time with my grandkids, I can show up as fully me
Yeah,
and give themselves
yes,
permission to become fully them. Yeah.
exactly. And this is how I build the role model that I want them to follow. At one point, I see my daughter follow my footsteps, and before that, I saw myself following my mom's footsteps. And I want to change this. Too many girls in this family, they have to be inspired by a different role model. Show them that, anything you want in this life, you can get. Show them how to be compassionate and kind. Show them how to appreciate things. It's just a total different approach. So I came back and I'm like, I wanna go back to work. I mean, of course I didn't want to do the things that I did before, but I learned that I could put the company to work again. To me, it was like I can help so many other people because it's a big company. I would create jobs for so many people. I don't have to be as much as involved because I didn't want to be as much as involved. So that's what I did. It took like 6 months to get that ball rolling again. And in the meantime, I did a lot of seminars and I got involved. I just graduated. I got a certification from Tony Madana's school as a life coach, which is something that I work so hard for it. And I think is amazing. And now I'm totally devoted into my mission is to help other women to live an extraordinary life. I changed my whole entire lifestyle 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I just redesigned my life. I reinvented myself. I created different identity and I'm happy. I'm happy 24/7. I have the same problems and obstacles that I always have, but I just see life in a different way right now. To me, obstacles are opportunities to grow, opportunities to learn. So whenever the obstacle comes, I'm kind of happy to see what is it going to come out of that. So I learned how to live in a wonderful state and life is so much easier. So I was telling somebody, I am my first client. Every morning when I wake up, I am my first client. So I train myself before I go out and interact with other people. I interact with myself. I practice gratitude. I put myself in a positive state. So everybody that will cross with me in the day, it will benefit from that. And that's the way I want to live. And that's the way I've been living. So because of that, my daughter's lifestyle have changed. She is in so much better state most of the time because it's kind of like, you learn it from what you see it. It's like very inspiring. It's the same that I have learned it from other people. So yeah. So now I create a group here in town to empower women. I wanted to create a space where we can get together and share whatever is going on. It can be something very difficult and challenging, as well as it can be something very empowering, like, oh my God, I just got this done. And I didn't know what's going to happen. This was my homework from my coach. I do have a coach that she's been coaching me for 2.5 years. I love her. She's my accountable partner, and she does push me whenever I get comfortable. So I totally believe in coaching. And before I become a coach, I say if I want to if I want to coach somebody, I need to be coach first to see what's the impact of coaching on people's life. And I'm telling you, the impact of me having a coach is incredible. So this was the homework. She told me one day, I think you're getting into that comfort zone again. I think we have to, what can you do to get out of that, and make it more exciting. And so I did. I created this group. I was about to take a flight, so I did everything on an app. The group name is She Speaks, She Heals. So literally is for 10 women to get together. It has a limit of 10. And we get together and we talk. And so it's one get together once a month. And I think now I'm going to have to expand it for more people because we're going for our second meeting, which is going to be in April 17. And this time we are going to create one achievable goal to do during that month until the next time we get together. I was amazed, of how lonely so many women are. They don't have the space where they can come
Yeah.
and not to be judged and speak freely without the fear of what other people would think or say. Because mainly there was tons of guidelines on the people that will, if you want to join us, you have to follow these guidelines. There's not advice given.
Yeah.
And I was so
And just
amazed when,
supportive. It sounds like it's very supportive.
yes, it is. But it was, I created the group and I set the guidelines, but the women, they were so beautiful, how they were open and, like sharing all these amazing things. And we all learn from each other. And I never thought it's going to be such a huge impact because I have bumped into some of them and they were like, it really changed my life, since that meeting. I have a totally different approach and I'm so happy. So I had to create a second meeting. I never thought it's going to work out. I kind of did it as my homework. And now it's like, wow, I have to be there for them now. I have to keep providing the space because it's just so good for them. And to me, that was amazing. That was amazing.
That's really cool that you did that because you know what? And I'm going to encourage you to keep doing it because several years ago, I did some type of similar group and it was called Your Best Year Yet or Goal Friends or Girlfriends or whatever. And so I knew I needed accountability on my own journey to find support and accountability to create intention and goals. And kind of like you said, what came out of it, and it was for women was this beautiful sharing. And the things that happened in that year were pretty incredible when we were able to hold each other accountable, support each other towards each other's goals. And even looking back, some of the stuff that came and was birthed out of that group was a lot of things that I didn't expect. So, similar to you, it sounds like there were, even in that first initial meeting, you're like, okay, I'm just doing this as this is what my coach told me to do. I'm going to do my homework. And now we have all these women who are sharing. They're getting that safe space to be able to feel supported. And then they want to keep on doing it.
Right. Yeah. And I guess I was telling my coach for a while, I would like to get involved in the community because everything is done online. Like most of the work I do is online. I have a lot of social media. So my interaction with people is through the computer, through the phone. And I was saying for a while, I like the personal connection. I like to be able to find somewhere in the community that I can create something. And that's why she keep telling me like every session was okay. It's been 2 months since you say that. And what is it going to be? It was my fear. It was my fear of being, I guess it's not a fear of failure. I'm not a person that really, but sometimes I feel like I'm doing things like, who's going to want to do that? When you ask yourself,
Yeah.
it's embarrassing. I'm going to
Yeah.
make that app. I'm going to make it public on my social media. And then I had no members. Nobody's going to sign up. So when I got out of the plane, I literally put it in the app. I create the group, and then I got out of the plane 3 hours later. I have 6 members. So I'm like, 6 members. Oh my God, I can't believe it. So that got me into going and more and more. but we face those things. And that's why I want to help other people, because I can overcome that very easily. But I know there is so many of us that it's really hard to get out of that place. And a lot of the women that have contacted me, they are they've been home for too long. They've been married for too long. They have raised children and they haven't done anything for themselves. So the lack of
Yeah.
confidence, that it's like they don't even know. If you ask, who are you? Just describe yourself. It is nothing but a mom and a wife and I mean, yeah, but really, who are you? Who is that person? What is that you want in your life? So I'm a big believer that the first step, and I do that with all my clients. My first step is always find out, where are you in your life, in all areas of your life. Where are you? What areas? I mean, we all have an area where we're totally happy about, but there is always that area where we are totally unhappy about. And why is it? So if you are satisfied with one area of your life, you should be able to do in every area of your life. So create that self confidence, take the fear away, and start working on it. What is that I want in my life? And how am I going to get there? How are we closing that gap? I love it.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, it sometimes starts with just taking action. Because I can think about as you were sharing your story, you woke up one day, you took a lot of action through the different phases of your life, right? As you were sharing your story. And one of those was, hey, I'm unhappy. I don't like this. So, what do I want to do differently that would maybe help me find more joy? And it sounds like through your own personal exploration of how can I improve myself? How can I be aware more of what's going to make me happy? What's going to bring me joy? And giving yourself permission to explore that. Now it sounds like you're in a place where you are now helping other women figure out, who am I? What what are the areas in my life where I'm maybe not experiencing joy? How can I be more intentional in those areas to figure out what it is that I would like that to look like? Sometimes we don't always know what we want it to look like, but they can say,
Right,
I wonder if this could be a possibility. Yeah.
right. I create compelling future for myself. I always know what I want. I always know. Not before, but now for the last 3 years, I wake up in the morning and I know what I want from that day and I know how my day is going to be and I'm creating that day as I live it. It would be terrifying for me if I don't have a compelling future. Like the picture, the vision of what is it going to be. I learned that. I mean, I used to use that when I travel. I was terrified of flying. Believe it or not, I've been flying my entire life from one place to another. Yeah, I used to be very terrified of flying, but then how I overcome that, it was by creating the picture that I was already there. I was on my destination and I would like imagine holding my kid if I was traveling to Argentina. So that was my compelling future. So we'll take the fear. So I said, what if I use that for everything in my life? For my business, for everything, I use it. You create a compelling future. You have a vision. That's your outcome. That's your goal, however you want to call it, your result. But then now you're taking action towards something that you know how it looks like. You even know how it feels like. It's just so much easier than trying to figure out, what did I do next? If you don't have a vision,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to decide, what did I want to do next or what should I do next. So yeah, I think that's really important. And I have seen changes on women that they were depressed, very lethargic, I will say. And as soon as they were able to create that vision, it's like the whole face lit up. because now you are not focusing. I know that it's good to focus on the present and to live in the moment, but also your moment can be so much better when you have something to look forward. That is something that you like, something that you're working for. So if you want to feel great and you want to have tons of energy 2 months from now, I mean, summer is coming here. You want to wear your bikini. What are you going to do? You're going to take action now in the present and say, hey, I'm going to the gym. I'm going to do something about that. So it's so much easier than not knowing what is it going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. I think there's times even I can think about in my life where, I wasn't always sure, but then whenever I was able to figure out what is that compelling future, what is that vision that I would have, whether it be for this relationship or this thing that I'm creating or whatever it is, then you have that clarity of knowing this is where I'm going. And it doesn't mean that you're always trying to hurry to get there, but you have a clarity of what you want things to look like. And then, like you said, I guess is taking that every day, that intention every day is what I'm hearing you
Right.
do. And you create. It sounds like you wake up and you're like, okay, what's my compelling? What do I want this day to look like? And then
Right.
you're more likely to get there if you just are waking up and winging it.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. It's the planning, the
Yeah.
programming that also, I mean, it's great to be as spontaneous. I am not until I used to be very I needed that certainty. I needed to have everything so planned and everything. Now I'm totally
So true.
spontaneous because as I plan my day, sometimes I change my mind and I can be spontaneous. I can like, maybe I just do this. But the big picture is there. So the big picture is how do I want to finish this year? Well, I have 2 or 3 big goals. And yeah, it's the daily action, it's the consistency of being that person that you have to become in order to have that. So creating, it's like
Yeah.
creating an avatar. I used to have this workshop, like, let's create your avatar. It's fun. I mean, you do it. I did it with children and they were so much open mind into creating that character, that person. Then we adults, it's like we have our identity so sealed already for, from when we were little. I mean, look at little children. We create kids' identity when they born. We are born with no identity.
Yeah.
And our identity is created by the people that raise us, the people that take care of us, and then it's up to us into like, are we keeping that identity or can we change it? So I used to say to myself, I am not a morning person. I was never a morning person. One day I stopped saying that to myself. And I get up every day like 5:36 in the morning. So, and I don't use an alarm clock anymore. So I changed my identity. Now I am a morning person. So you can just, by changing a little bit of what you're telling yourself, then you become a different person. So yeah, that's
Yeah. And then
fascinating.
those behaviors then can follow. Well, Rosanna, if somebody was like, "Look, I just am just listening to your story, it's inspiring," and they wanna find out more about how to connect with you and learn how to create more of this compelling future or this identity of themselves, how would they find you and how would they connect with you?
Well, I do have my website, which is my name, rosanastorani.com. Also, I'm big on social media. I love to share whatever is going on in my life. I believe that I love when I get this text like, thank you so much. You just changed my day. I love that. So I share whatever is going on in my life and I share how I overcome obstacles and I give ideas and I also do have some workshops every now and then. So on Instagram is also my name, Rosanna lower score Storani. And yeah, I can be contacted there. My website has my phone number or my email.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll make sure we'll link that all up in the show notes. So, I do have one final question for you. If you were to go back maybe to younger you, I don't know if it was 19-year-old you about to have a baby, or if it was 25-year-old you moving to the US, or even several year old ago's just several years ago, whenever you're maybe in that stuck place where you're like, I'm waking up and I've achieved this success, but I'm not necessarily feeling happy or fulfilled. And whichever one of those you want to choose, and you were to give yourself one piece of advice or encouragement, or maybe you would even want to give yourself a compelling future, at that point. What's that one
Yeah.
thing that you wish you could go back and tell yourself?
Yeah. There is one thing that I think it would have been handy to know. Proximity is power. So you become the people you're around with. So selection and everything and every relationship, your friends, your intimate relationships, selection is very important. You have to be smart with that. And then, yeah, I guess it's that. I don't regret anything that I lived in my life. Fear is not a thing. I guess that's another thing. Just have faith that you have all the resources within you. Everything you need, you have it. You just have to become resourceful. That would have been
I like
nice to
that.
know.
You
It
can
would have saved me a lot of
just risk
time.
becoming resourceful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah. Well, Rosanna, I just want to thank you for, going on this journey yourself, but you didn't just stop there on your own personal journey. Like you said, when you set out to do your life coaching, it was gonna be, I'm gonna be the first client, right? And maybe you didn't foresee yourself imparting some of the stuff you learned to other people, but you did take it a step further and you said, okay, not only am I gonna go on this journey to figure out, what your compelling future is for yourself, but I also want to inspire other individuals, especially women, to create a compelling future for their life as well. And so I just want to acknowledge you and appreciate you for going on that journey yourself so that you can empower others to do the same.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be in your show. I love what you do. It's great that you create this space for people like me to come and share our stories. That's very, very nice, kind.
Yeah. Well, I love that you were able to come today and share, that there is things that are possible for you and you can go through a lot of life transitions. And like you said, at different points in time, you can always recreate your identity. And so if you are listening and I always give you a little bit of a takeaway or something that I'm thinking about from our conversation, one thing that I love about Rosanna's story is that no matter where are in life, there is always an opportunity to pivot and there's always an opportunity to create a compelling future for yourself. And just because you may have reached a point in life where you think that maybe it's not possible for you, I hope you take the encouragement that Rosanna gave today and let yourself know that a compelling future is possible for you too. Until next time. That's all for today on Inspiring Possible. If you found a little inspiration today, please go on over to iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you tune in to listen to leave us a comment and rate us. Also, make sure and link up with me at inspiringpossible.com to get the free Dream It, Write It, Do It workbook. And don't forget to follow us on social media and share this with anyone who needs to be inspired. Remember, if you can believe it, it's possible.